Hi there. Today we're going to take a look at what's going on in the S&P and talk about that a little bit. But before we do that, there was a mention of the BBK pattern and a discussion of that, and let's review that a little bit. Okay. So here we have a 3P, and here we can see it continued. And prior to that 3P, where prices broke through, and that was the caramba in the BBK, bounce caramba, you had another 3P, 1, 2, 3P before the caramba. Okay. Now, generally, what happens with the BBK is the pivots that are used are very, very close together. So it's important to do this. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those 6 pivots, notice those 6 pivots can be counted as a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of some sort. It's nothing Elliott wave fancy or anything. So notice that they are close together, not drawn from some exotic place out there. So let's take a look at this. And once again, let's just draw a 3P line here. And we'll draw a 3P line here. And usually with the 3P line, one of them is really, really pretty and perfect, and the other one in some cases is not, like this here is not real perfect, and this one here is not real perfect. Okay. So notice again here you go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There aren't a whole bunch of pivots in between when counting those. Okay. So you have the bounce, and then the caramba. Good. So much for BBK. Now let's look at the market and things related to that. I'm going to look at SPY because that's really been pretty easy. Okay. S&P, for quite some time I've been saying, gee, the S&P looks like it's going to make a low lower than this point here. This is my target. But let's see why. Why is that my target? Well, don't worry about all this other stuff I've got drawn here. That's another discussion. Let's see if we simply draw our this is the center line here. Okay. And notice this is the 0,4 center line, or 0Y center line, as I may refer to it. Simply saying this is the high, this is the previous low. We take this point here and we take the previous low there, and we get our center line. And notice that prices broke through it. And typically, when prices break through it, you have a change in trend. Even though, like here, it broke through it and then wiggled and blah blah blah. You can see that obviously. So the idea is that typically they make it to the reaction line. They'll work real hard at making it to this reaction line here, which they obviously are right now. Interestingly enough, some people, and there's a lot of them out there that follow moving averages. And let's take a look at this. So 200, let's add the 50. Okay. Okay, well, there's a theory called the golden cross, and that is when prices cross both of them. And here's your 200-day that you then have a move in the new direction, and we can see that your 50-day is somewhere around here. Whoops, that's wrong. That's really wrong. Here we go. This is a lot better. Oh yeah. Okay, see, here's your 50-day, and they're below that, and then they went down to the 200-day right here. So that's why you get a lot of activity in this area here. Okay. So the theory is if prices plunge through here, then if prices plunge through it's not unusual for prices to plunge through the 200-day, by the way. Look at this. See this? So that's not a big deal. But what is interesting is that quite often after prices plunge through the 200-day moving average, they have a tendency to find themselves an important course line to reverse at if the trend is going to continue. Okay, and if you take a look at this point here, you can see that prices were below that 200-day moving average, and if you remember down here we had a nice signal at an MLH and a whole bunch of other things that came in here. So this is what we have right now on the 29th of July, and in the middle of debt ceiling craziness. By the way, Ronald Reagan raised the debt ceiling 18 times, and George W. Bush did it 7 times. So perhaps this is not purely a democratic affair. So anyway, what happens here now is that if prices come down and bounce off here, that would be really kind of interesting if they bounced off the reaction line, because it's this reaction line that would provide strong support for a trend continuing. Remember, Andrew suggested there was a change in trend, or at least temporary, if prices broke through the 0.04 line. And then of course the next target is the reaction line, and so in order to validate whether or not that high probability is there that says that prices are going down right now, prices need to go stay past this this R1 line. So we will see in the fullness of time. And let's see, I'll put this video on with all the other new videos in the general in the set with the general course videos. So I thank you for your time and see you next time.